about this webinar, we're just going to let you know that we're going to be recording this session. So we'll just start and get that recorded. Okay, it's very, very good. Very good. So let's just get going. So today, what are we going to be doing today in the next hour together? So we're going to be taking you through a product that at Scope we are working with. Okay, so this product is called the generate.TAX. Why are we showing this product? Why are we working with this product? So for those of you who don't know what Scope does and who we are, Scope is a cloud implementation specialist. We've been working with accountants and businesses for the past 11 years now to help businesses and accountants basically adopt the right cloud software to empower your business and really, really get that efficiency and make your life a bit better and make your job a bit easier with the use of the right tools. And generate.TAX fits perfectly in this category of tools. Something that we've always realized in the market, that VAT compliance is something that is a bit of a hassle. Not everyone loves to do it, okay? And with certain tools, it's not as easy to do as well. So that is why we partnered up with generate.TAX, and we are now giving it to our clients, and we want to share how this can help you. And today we're going to be focusing on that. So before we give you a bit of a demo, I'll explain a bit what it does. So essentially, generate.TAX is your VAT compliance buddy, if you want to call it that, okay? And it does, first things first, it actually has a VAT return generator. So it's going to help you generate fully compliant VAT returns directly from your cloud accounting platform. So you just need to do the accounting, and then generate.TAX will handle the rest. It also has a VAT number checker. So if I'm sure you've all had to go to the very tedious process of checking every single VAT number of supplier and customer on VIS, and generate.TAX actually does that for you without you even noticing. So it will actually do that for you in the background, and you will be able to find out if you have a wrong VAT number, if you have a missing VAT number, and it will actually speed up that process for you as well. Something that we're also quite happy with, and that's why we are collaborating with generate.TAX, is that at the moment it has 6 supported countries. So yes, generate.TAX is a multi-jurisdictional tool. So it does not just handle Malta, okay, and we'll check which countries are currently supported. At the moment, we're very happy to say that even though generate.TAX is still in beta phase, we already generated over 1,000 VAT returns from our clients that have been using generate.TAX, and we want to thank those clients as well for their feedback and for helping generate.TAX and helping us out, to ensure that this tool is going to become the perfect tool for VAT compliance, and we expect that number to grow. And in terms of time, we've seen that with generate.TAX, it is basically 50% faster. You know, you are cutting down the process in half, because all you do is practically click a button and the VAT return is prepared. In terms of supported countries at the moment, generate.TAX has obviously Malta. It is a Maltese born tool, but it also handles Cyprus, UAE, the Isle of Man, Ireland, and Jersey. And the team over at generate.TAX is working towards adding more and more countries to that list. And obviously the idea is to allow our partners, our practices, to be able to handle VAT compliance across all jurisdictions from one location. Okay, so some housekeeping rules before we start, and I hand it over to Becky to actually show you the tool. Okay, so the chat, as you can see, is disabled. Okay, if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A feature within Google Meet. So for those of you who haven't used Google Meet before, there is a small icon on the bottom right of the screen with like 3 shapes. When you click on it, you'll be able to ask those questions. In order not to disrupt the webinar too much, we're not going to be answering questions right away. So what we're going to leave some time at the end of the webinar, and we'll actually be answering your questions over there. Apart from that, enjoy the demo. For those of you who want to find out how you can access generate.TAX, stay till the end. We'll also be giving and sharing some upcoming features, some very exciting upcoming features. And yes, I can hand it over to Becky.
Okay, thank you, Mick, for that introduction. So let's get started. and let's show you what generate.TAX can do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log in, and you can log in using single sign-on. Okay. So just as it's loading, we're going to log in, and generate.TAX, I would like you to look at it as well as your VAT compliance hub. So I have landed on the home page, and as you can see, we have a dashboard, and you can see a bit of an overview of your VAT returns. Okay, so you can see the tax returns that you've generated, any due returns that you have upcoming, any expired returns, and also any returns which are awaiting the client. As we just scroll down here, you can see a detailed list, and you'll be able to keep track basically of the individual submissions, what entity it relates to. You can also keep track of the due date, and obviously this will be based on the user access, right? So you can be only seeing those organizations that you have access to, okay? The aim also is for this tool to be a collaborative tool. So as you can see, for each individual submission, you can have a preparer, a reviewer, you can also set a client, and you can see the status of the actual VAT submission, okay? On this section here, you have also quite a powerful filtering option. So you can go ahead, and if, for example, you would just like to see any submissions, which if you are set as the reviewer, you can go ahead and see filter for just the reviewer option. Okay, so how does it work? So to add a new entity to generate.TAX, if I just go to the top right hand side of the screen, generate.TAX integrates with Xero and also with Sin7. So the first thing that you would need to do is to actually connect the organization to generate.TAX. Okay, and for this purpose of this webinar, we are going to go over an organization that we've connected via Xero. Okay, so if I navigate to the entities section on the left hand side here, you can see a list of all the entities that I have connected to generate.TAX. You can see the country, and also here you can see the different returns. So you can see generate.TAX also caters for VAT recap statements as well as VAT returns. You can see the users associated with that entity, and you can also add users on the fly. And you will always also be able to see any VAT numbers related to that organization. Okay, so now let's go ahead and generate the VAT return, and I'm going to show you the process of how to generate the VAT return. So if I click on an individual entity, it takes us to an overview of the organization, and you can see any submissions relating to that organization. As you can see, there's the Malta VAT return, but you can also create a VAT recap statement, and you'll be able to see the statuses and the different submissions related to that entity. So let's get started, and I'm going to show you how you create a tax submission. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to select the reporting period for this tax submission. Okay, I'm going to do for Q1, in this case of 2025. And as you can see as well here, generate.TAX also uses, it pulls the data, and it uses the reference rates provided by the European Central Bank to be in line with the regulations. And I'm just going to go ahead and generate. And in the meantime, it's pulling my data from Xero, in this case, for that period that I've actually selected. And as you can see from a click of a button, it has generated my VAT return here. So it's populated, in this case, my Malta VAT return. And I'm going to save my VAT return to just start off the process. And if I just scroll here, as you can see, I have my Malta VAT return populated, including the value box, as well as your output and your input tax. And as such, your end result, which will be your VAT refundable or your VAT payable. Okay, so that was all generated with just a click of a button. So now I'm going to take you through the different features of the VAT return. Okay, so this was the first page, and now I'm going to move on to the transactions. Okay, so if I just select my transactions, generate.TAX is going to show you all the transactions making up the VAT return for this quarter that we've selected. if you actually click, you can click on this button and it will take you directly to the transaction in Xero. And if you're reviewing and you realize that you need to update any transactions, you can go ahead, update it in Xero, come back here and just click the refresh button, and it will refresh the data for you, and you just can continue with the submission. As you're seeing here as well, you have the different options here. You can see a summarized view and a detailed view. Difference here is the summarized view is going to show you the final transactions. So you won't see any of the edits or the reverses that were done in the back end in Xero. If you want to see the actual detail, you can also do that. And there's also the option to export transactions. So if you export transactions, it's going to export them in Excel, and you can do any further review through Excel. Having said that, there are very strong filtering options within generate.TAX. So if, for example, you want to filter per mapping, so you want to see all the transactions included in box 3, you can go ahead and use the filters here. Okay. Moving on, so we have the next feature is called the exceptions tool. So this, we're giving you a bit of a sneak peek. So it's going to be released in very, very soon, but we're just going to show you how this works. Okay, so basically, if you have a submission, a previous submission that you've closed off, and then you've posted maybe some transactions in your accounting software, and these relate to the previous submission, and generate.tax has the ability to pick up these transactions, and it's going to prompt you to see how you'd like to deal with these exceptions. Okay, so as you can see, you have a table at the bottom of the page, and you can actually scroll through and see what these individual transactions relate to. And on the right hand side, you'll see that these are unresolved transactions, and you have the option of what you want to do with them. So let's tackle these two exceptions here. If I just select the 3 dots on the side, we have 3 options. Do I want to include this transaction in this submission? Or I can adjust a prior submission, or I can even defer to the next submission. Okay, so for the first transaction, I'm going to go ahead and select include in this submission. And just like that, I would have taken this transaction and updated the VAT return with that transaction. For the second option, I'm going to say that I want to adjust to a prior submission. So if I go ahead and select this, I have to give generate.tax some further details, and I need to tell it basically in which period that I'd like to adjust. So I'm going to actually select the period to adjust my VAT return. I'm going to select an adjustment date, and I can go ahead and save. Okay, so that is the exceptions handling tool that generate.tax offers. Okay, so now moving on to the mapping screen, you might be saying, so how did we arrive at the VAT return? Okay, so the first step of actually when you connect an organization is you're going to have to map the VAT return. So you're going to teach generate.tax which of your VAT rates have to go in which boxes. So since it's integrated in this case with Xero, it would have pulled the VAT rates from your Xero entity, and step by step, you're going to actually map the rates in the respective boxes, okay? If you're being a scope client as well, we assist clients with the first mapping because you would like to maybe invest some time in this, and you do it right the first time, and you can also use it as a template and load other entities using this template as well, okay? As you can see on the right-hand side as well, we have this approval workflow. So within each individual VAT submission, you can select a reviewer. So the preparer will automatically be the person who's going to generate this submission. You've got a reviewer. So let's say, for example, I'm going to set the reviewer as Sarah Connor, and then you can also invite a client in. So the aim of this as well is to have this collaborative environment, and it will eliminate a lot of to and fro. Okay, so it's just making the process a whole lot easier. Okay, so I'm going to select the client, and I'm going to now set my VAT return as awaiting approval internally. So just like that, as I've set it as awaiting approval, obviously Sarah Connor, who's the reviewer, will be notified, and she will be able to go ahead and review. Okay. Over here, you can also see we have two tabs where we have the activity tab and also add note. So within each submission, you can also add a note if you like that it's specific, and you can come into the activity tab and you can keep track of everything that has gone on from the moment you have saved your your submission. Okay, so you can see who was set as the reviewer, and the client, and you can also add a note. So let's say I want to add a note within this submission for the reviewer to see, and I say, don't forget, for example, to copy and make in the approval email. Okay, I want to go ahead and save this note. And if I just go back to the activity, this has automatically been updated in the activity. So you've got that audit trail as well. Okay, if I've come in, I'm happy, I've reviewed this this submission, and I can go ahead and approve it internally. And my next step now, I would actually like to send the client to the client for approval. Okay, I can include a subject here. So I'm going to say VAT return for Q1, and hi, Mr. Client, please approve. You can choose whether to send a copy to the preparer and to the reviewer, and we're going to go ahead and send to the client. So now let's go and see from the side of the client what they would actually see from their end. Okay, so the client will receive an email, and it would look something like this. So basically that there is they have received a request to approve the tax submission. You have the note that we left, and also there is the option to click to review the tax submission. Now the view obviously of the client is going to be different to what we were seeing before. So all the client can see is the VAT return and also the transactions. So if I toggle to the transactions, you can see the full list of the transactions making up this VAT return. Now, again, if the client does not have access to your Xero entity, then they will not be able to select the transaction, and it won't take them directly to Xero. Okay. The client also has the option to come into this submission and leave a comment. Okay, and they can save the notes before they go ahead and approve it. So let's go and approve it from the client's end. And let's just close off this VAT return and see how it looks from our end. So if I just navigate back to the entity that we were working on, I can just scroll down here and I can see that the status has been updated to client approved. But apart from that, we also get an email notification as well. So if I just open the submission that we're in, the activity trail has also been updated. So you can see that the comment of the client was automatically updated, as well as you have that the status was set to client approved. And the final step from our end internally is that we can actually mark it as submitted with authority. So internally, we would know that we're happy, we got all the approvals that we need. And the final step would be for us to go onto the VAT portal then and actually make the submission of the VAT return. Okay. So apart from being able to generate the VAT return and it being your VAT compliance hub for you to be able to keep track of all your submissions, as Mick mentioned before, there is the VAT checker option feature within generate.TAX. Okay, you can activate, you can choose which entities to activate, so you do not need to activate them all. And if I just navigate into the company that we're working on, what the VAT checker does is that it's going to go through, in this case, through all your contacts of Xero, and it's going to go through the information included on the contact card, and it's going to check the VAT number with the VIES included on the website. Okay, so this is done every 24 hours, but you can also manually push this. So in this case, it pulled the data for me, and it's saying that I have 5 customers, 0 suppliers, and it's saying that I have 1 error and 1 missing VAT number. Okay, so how is the process? I'm just going to show you how it would work if we're going to manually push it. Okay, so I want to check my VAT numbers here, and I'm going to proceed. And as you can see here, I have the name. You can see the different VAT numbers. You'll be able to see the country as well as the type, whether it's a customer or supplier. And you have the last check that it was made. And on the status column, you can see whether the VAT number was invalid, valid, and in this case, it's also showing that we have a missing VAT number. Okay. Another feature which is available as well within the VAT checker is that you can actually generate a certificate. So if I want to, at a particular point in time, I can actually generate a certificate for my contact, and it's going to give you the actual VAT number with the name, and you also have a date and a time stamp, so you know that at that point in time, that VAT number was actually valid. So if there were any changes made after this date, at least you would know that you have this certificate. You can download the certificate, and it's also possible. You also have a history log, so you'll be able as well to go through again this audit trail to be able to keep track of any changes that were made to the contacts. Okay.
Perfect. Very good. So thank you, Becky. So as you've all seen, we managed to generate a VAT return in a matter of minutes. Reviewing, especially when connected to Xero, is extremely simple. Everything is connected, and that's why we've chosen to put to work and partner with generate.TAX, just because it makes the process way more seamless. Now, some sneak peeks of what is coming soon. So something that is going to be released imminently will be the new exceptions handling engine that Becky showed you, including also features that will help you do the corrections and adjustments to prior VAT returns. Something that is also coming soon, and actually one of you asked the question, is the OSS return. So yes, the OSS return will be added, and that will help your clients that have obviously multinational trade with different members and all the complications that leads to OSS. You'll actually be able to use generate.TAX for that as well. For those of you who are already using generate.TAX, a feature that is also coming soon is there's going to be an improvement to the mapping screen. We always want to make it easier for everyone to map their returns, and we've heard your feedback, and we are adding some changes over there. We're actually going to collaborate with generate.TAX to enhance the integration with Xero and allow generate.TAX to actually post into Xero. Okay, so that's going to work in a way that when you close your VAT return, you actually do the submission, you can choose that this will post an entry into your VAT control account, and that will make the process even more seamless, even for audit trail and accounting purposes. We are actually going to be adding a review module within each submission. So thanks to the mapping and the technology behind generate.TAX, we'll be able to help you identify anomalies, for example, sales using input VAT rates. And the idea is, again, not just to have generate.TAX as a tool that will help you generate the VAT return, but also a tool that will help you review and finalize, and at the end of the day, improve the quality of your VAT compliance work. So that's also coming in. Another exciting feature will be advanced reporting. Okay, so there will be a new reporting area within generate.TAX, which will handle what we're calling practice level reporting. So what that means is that you'll be able to actually see data across your clients. You can track submissions. You can also have a look at your team's efficiency. When was the due date? Whether we submitted before the due date, after the due date, who's the reviewer, who's the preparer, and make sure that, once again, all your VAT compliance is being taken care of. And this will also help you with planning. Okay, so you'll be able to see all the upcoming VAT returns that you need to work on, and that will help you and your team be better prepared to hopefully not miss a deadline. Another thing that's coming in is more integrations. Okay, so more sources, including something that is currently being worked on, which is a way to import the data via Excel. Okay, so for those of you who have clients who might not be using any cloud accounting platform, we will also help, and you'll be able to actually upload that data through Excel, and like that you can still unlock, the efficiency and the power that generate.TAX gives you. Coincidentally, there is a question, was something that was also being looked into, just partial attribution. This is something that is also being discussed between Scope and generate.TAX, and it's something that we definitely want to have, and it's something that we're going to be definitely helping with. Okay, so then before I answer any other questions that are coming in, one big question is, how do we access generate.TAX? how do we start using it? Okay, so for those of you who are Scope customers, generate.TAX is already available to you. And if you're not using it, please reach out and let's make sure that you are using it. Some good news is that for those people who are Scope customers and who will become Scope customers, generate.TAX will always be included within our packages and at no extra cost. So it will be included for free in your packages, and it will remain that way because, as we said before, we believe a lot in this product, and we believe that with this product, your practice, your business can really maximize and get that efficiency. So that's a promise, and that's something that we'll keep doing. For those of you who are not yet Scope customers, there is only one action point that you need to do. There is one email address, and go to the last bit, which is hello@scope.mt. Okay, so feel free to reach out to us using this email. Let us know whether you want to use it. If you're interested, we'll be very happy. Our team will be very happy to reach out and help you onboard generate.TAX, set it up, use it the first couple of times, and we want to make sure that you're maximizing this really great tool. As you've seen, it is we are also leaving the beta stage. So at the moment it is in beta, but it will be leaving the beta stage. Okay, so what that means that it will be fully released, and technically from today you can reach out and you can start using it to its full capabilities, full potential. Okay, so again, feel free, reach out, hello@scope.mt, and let us help you and guide you on this journey. Okay, so we have some time left to answer some questions. Okay, so let's just go through them. So there is OSS we mentioned, and partial attribution we also mentioned. There is a question which is, do we still need to manually go to CFR portal to submit the VAT submissions? So for the time being, yes. Obviously the goal is to try to collaborate with the local authorities and all other authorities to obviously be able to have a seamless experience of clicking submit, and that will actually go to the authorities. But that's a bit of a work in progress. And of course, you can imagine it's not something that generate.TAX can do on their own. So there needs to be collaboration with the authorities. But it's something that, yes, it's definitely being looked into. There's a question about when will we be including other ERP systems. So as we've mentioned, the idea is to keep adding more integrations so we can have a situation where, whichever cloud platform you're using, you can use generate.TAX, and that is the aim of generate.TAX, okay, to be as versatile as possible. In terms of timeline, we can't really promise anything for the time being. Obviously, there needs to be a conversation and there needs to be analysis to see whether certain integrations are viable, and then if they are viable, then the team will start obviously building those integrations bit by bit. As I'm sure you'll appreciate, since this is a VAT compliance tool, when it comes to building the integration, there needs to be a lot of technical conversations and design to ensure that all the transactions are being monitored correctly and that nothing is being missed out. So obviously these integrations take a bit of time to be built, but once they are built, our promise and generate.TAX's promise is that you can rely on it, and with the figures there, you can just proceed. There's a question about the mapping. So again, if you have more detailed questions on how we're doing the mapping and how we are handling reverse charge, and something we haven't mentioned actually, yes, is that it also handles cash accounting, but not just cash accounting, but also a hybrid model. So as most of you probably know, for example, even the Maltese VAT laws do not allow for a fully cash accounting VAT return. There are specific boxes which would still need to be handled on an accruals basis, and generate.TAX also handles that. So again, the idea is today not to go through all the mapping. So for those of you who want to go in and have a look, and we can have a meeting to take you to the mapping, do the mapping together. As I said, reach out to hello@scope and we'll guide you over there. So there's a question about Excel. As I said, that is coming in. Yes. So there's a lot of questions relating to the Excel. So the idea is that there will be a new way where instead of adding either Xero or Sin7 or a cloud accounting platform, there will be import via Excel, and you'll be able to take the data from your clients, transactional level data, upload it, and then you'll be able to use generate.TAX similar. I don't think we have any other questions so far. Okay, they still keep coming in. For existing scope customers, so existing scope customers, you can use it right away. So if you have not yet used it, just reach out to us and we'll guide you on setting you up, and you can start using it from today onwards, technically speaking. Yeah, and those who are in scope customers, reach out and hopefully we'll get you on generate.TAX as soon as possible. Okay. I don't know. I think we had quite an interesting session, and thank you all for joining us. We had over 100 attendees, which we're very, very happy with, and thank you for participating and taking the time to join us today. As I said, we're here to help. Reach out to us, whether it's Hello at Scope, whether you know us personally, LinkedIn, you see us at an MIA event having a drink, feel free to reach out. My technical advice might not be as great during a party, but we'll still try to help you out. But the ideal way is hello@scope.mt, and like that, we'll make sure that your questions are answered and in a timely manner as well. So thank you very much for joining us. We hope to see you soon, and we hope to see you all generate VAT returns using generate.TAX. And yeah, that's it. Thank you from our side.
Thank
you
you
very much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.